Good there, Tom?
Good. You're going.
All right, regular meeting of Trinidad Tax Advisory Board. Start off with the roll call. Lynn? Here. Chris? Here. Eric? Here. And I'm here. That's everybody. First up, approval of minutes from the July 7th meeting. Does anybody have any revisions or any concerns there? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, minutes approved from July 9th.
This month's scooping them off.
Yeah, well, years. Almost Christmas. So, new business. That's my wife's newspaper joke that I make pretty much every day. Got our friendly folks from the city clerk's office here today. Going to be providing an update on citywide events planning and where we're at on the budget and all that stuff. So, thanks for joining us. I'll go ahead and take it over.
Okay, so at the beginning, well, I guess we started at the end of last year, planning for the City of Trinidad's 150th anniversary that's happening this year. And so the goal was to have an event every single month that celebrated our community. At the same time, we wanted to do everything that we could to help promote tourism to our area and make this a location that people want to come back to. And so, as you may or may not know, we had February 1st was our official anniversary. We had a birthday celebration here in this building. And then April, May, we did a bocce ball tournament. And that was locals that participated. And that was a lot of fun. And we tried to do that for Santa Fe Trail Festival. Didn't get enough teams, but there was a lot going on that weekend. May 2nd and 3rd, we held the City of Trinidad's first ever 2-day team bass tournament at Trinidad Lake. We were limited to 20 boats by our permit, and did we have all 20? I think we had 18, somewhere in there. Yeah. Anyhow, vast majority were from out of this community, out of several even from out of state in New Mexico. So I feel like we definitely met that goal. The people who showed up were super excited about the tournament. They enjoyed the lake. We had tremendous catches. The lake really produced for them. And Felicia, who works also in the city clerk's office, has been promoting those events, posting photos and what have you. Our Facebook post went viral on our youth tournament that was at the end of May. And even the engagement from the team tournament was just huge. We're seeing the results of what we wanted to do with that, with making our lake a destination. And granted, it's outside of our city limits, but those people still have to eat. They still have to stay somewhere, get fuel, what have you, snacks. And so that was our first tournament was definitely a success. Then our youth tournament, May 31st, that one had 15 boat limit. And I think we had maybe 2 teams from inside of Trinidad. The rest were all from out of Trinidad.
If you happen to have, we don't need like the people's names or anything, but if you happen to have just a list of where folks might sign up from, I'm assuming you collected addresses.
We did.
Just curious to see it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe you can share that out with myself or Victor, and we can get into the rest of the board too.
Yeah, this is more of an overview than the details of it. We're going to do an overall summary with all of that detail later on in the year after basically our events are done. We're trying to weigh what is successful, what needs to be maybe not repeated next year, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So again, May 31st, youth tournament, majority from out of this community, and the parents and the kids had an incredible time. Again, the fish quality was incredible, and those posts went viral. So great success. let's see. We had planned a Central Park shore fishing tournament in June. I plan, loosely planned. But at the end of the day, the Corps of Engineers and Julie Knudsen from Purgatory Water, they did that event. So we didn't feel like that was necessarily a good repeat if someone else was already doing it. As you know, the next event that we held was Santa Fe Trail Festival. It was our third one that the City of Trinidad held. And it was, marked our state's 150, America's 250, and Trinidad's 150. We had a drone show that had to be canceled because of the wind. But overall, I think again that was a huge success. We're still basically gathering numbers. We had almost 100 vendors. We're right at 100 vendors. So I think that was a great success, and certainly our community enjoyed it, especially the kids with the carnival.
Are there any attendance estimations?
Not yet. We're literally still catching up from that.
Mhm.
It's
And how do you estimate, was it because we had checkpoints coming in and out? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Next year, I think we're going to do clickers because wristbands are so difficult.
Oh,
Even if it's a clicker and a sticker or something like that, something other than the wristbands, because they're time consuming. The wind proved to be a huge challenge even with those. And so we just have to do something a little different next year. But
do you get any stats back from the carnival operators in terms of like their tickets sold or counts they have for the rides and stuff?
we did. They had a huge success. They were super pleased. And in years past, when we had the various inflatable rides and what have you, we had to pay for those. The carnival wasn't available to us though, because of the weekend that we had it. So for this year, we decided to move the date so that we could actually have a carnival. And at the end of the day, for doing the pre-sales of the bands, we actually, rather than paying for the carnival, we actually received money from the carnival. So it was a great success all the way around. So we already have the carnival booked for next year, and I think we have our headliner already lined up for next year. So huge success. Between the heat and the wind, it was a little bit tough for everybody, but it was awful. And I'll say that what we noticed was with the full carnival, we didn't see as many people in the, what I would say is the vendor and dancing and stage area as we had in the past. The carnival was just that big of a draw. So, which is okay. The carnival's great for everything. So July 4th would have been our next event, the fireworks show. And as you know, the fireworks were canceled because of our weather conditions and the risk for fire. We will likely try to get that scheduled towards the end of the year. Maybe for New Year's, we'll see.
So
We'll check on availability with them.
how does that work? Like, does the city purchase the fireworks themselves and then have a contract for an operator? Do we set them off ourselves?
So to save money, the contract that we have, well, we wouldn't buy the fireworks ourselves. We basically are paying for the fireworks though. So our supply of fireworks is available and having to be stored at this point.
Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. Yeah, so we have those fireworks.
I knew you were gonna ask. Up north, it's B Lake Productions.
Yeah, so the contractor takes care of all that.
They store it, their location, yeah, because I know from experience, that's a
Well, yeah, you.
heavy
New Year's could be cool for that.
Yeah.
I also was wondering if we potentially want to go ahead and just plan drone shows moving forward. that is kind of a trend. I'm sure we'd see some level of public pushback or disappointment there, but once they see a show, they probably will be all in. So I think it's something that's just worth discussing for next year. I'm not sure about the cost comparison between the two, but something I wanted to bring up in relation to fireworks is we're looking at budget for next year, and I mean, fire season's not going away. It's probably going to keep getting worse. So something that I think is worth considering for the city is just transitioning that over to a drone show.
We've already talked about doing just that internally as well, just foregoing fireworks and having a drone show. It's a lot safer.
Yeah.
It's a lot better for the animals and everything.
I
So
would think it would be less expensive too. Maybe not.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know what
It's
that
probably
cost
pretty
is.
comparable. Yeah. And especially there are like tens if not hundreds of thousands of drones involved. So it's a big production.
Okay, so that moves us on to July 11 and 12, which was just recently completed.
Yeah.
We had a 2-day 25 kayak bass tournament. Of the 25 kayakers, we had, I believe it was 3 from Trinidad. The rest, again, came from New Mexico, northern Colorado. Fishing was a little bit tough. But fishing is fishing. I mean, from one day to the next, it can change. But still, it was a really great time, and those people were the most appreciative people I've ever met in my life. They thoroughly enjoyed it. They too asked if we'll be doing that again next year. Every single fishing tournament they've asked for staff. We look forward to coming back next year. Hope you're going to do it again next year. So again, I think even if we're putting money forward to put these tournaments on and award prizes, the idea is to get the people wanting to come back. And that's exactly what's happened. So that was a great tournament. It was a lot of fun, and all of the bass tournaments, so are catch and release tournaments. So we don't have an over harvest of fish, and we do have a lot of details about the tournaments as far as numbers and what have you. That will be shared when we do a summary report.
Yeah, my main thing for all these would be to get the associated costs for budgeting purposes. So
I'm gonna put that together now.
So let's see, we were planning on doing a pickleball tournament in July after the pickleball courts opened, but since they opened later than expected, we're planning on doing a grand opening on August the 22nd. And the folks from the Trinidad Pickleball Group they're great, and they're helping us coordinate everything. They're going to have an exhibition, so some semi-pro players come down and play a match for that. They're also going to do some informal lessons during that day, so we'll have that, and then we will be planning, I don't remember the dates now, an actual pickleball tournament. September 19th, maybe? I think that's right, September the 19th. So, this is an aside. This is through Historic Preservation Commission with their own budget. They'll be doing an Echoes event August 1st, and they'll also be doing their scavenger hunt again. So those 2 things are happening, and then we have pushed our Trinex games to a later date as well, September. So
what was that?
it's Trinex. So it's called the Trinex Jam. We're working with Push It Trinidad
Oh,
to put on a BMX and skateboard event. Yeah. They've done it successfully year over year, and we don't have a clue how to do it, and so they're Kim has been great to work with, and we're lining up the details and partnering with Push It Trinidad to get that on the books too. So, let's see, August 8th, which is right around the corner. It'll be our last fishing event. It's going to be a shore fishing tournament, and they're going to be fishing for heaviest weight. It'll be catfish, walleye, trout. It's limited to 100 participants, and they will compete for cash prizes. There is a $25 entry fee. So, I mean, the cost isn't all that great, and it's again going to be, probably this will be more geared towards local folks, but I already do have people from Rio Rancho that have entered, and you know, they're some of the people who have fished our other tournaments. So,
How are you advertising these?
mostly Facebook and the tourism's website. So we do have also radio though, and other platforms, Chronicle News, and they have a huge reach also. So we've used all of the local medias to help with that outreach. So, which has been really great. I'll say that Santa Fe Trail Festival, we had some folks that came from, was it San Diego? I think it was San Diego. They were doing, it was their 58th wedding anniversary. And so they planned for their anniversary to do 58 event kind of things. And they saw our advertisement for Santa Fe Trail Festival and came here specifically to make this one of their 58 stops.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And so that was, I mean, I think those kinds of wins where we're getting our name out there and where people are seeing the activity always happening in our community is really, again, one of our goals. If we can keep promoting Trinidad and having things for people to do, I think it's how we're going to realize our biggest win for the community. So, August 8th is our next one. Yep. Okay, so then September. September, we want to do something to welcome students back to class and the college students back to class as well. Details of that are pending. We don't have anything necessarily lined out, but we also want to do something for the community for Labor Day, because you know, now that we don't have the rodeo during Labor Day weekend, a lot of people used to, after the Labor Day parade, head out to the fairgrounds, watch the rodeo, do the barbecue. So we're thinking about doing, well, I should say we're planning, because we're not just thinking about it. We are planning on doing an outdoor street dance and barbecue for the community. So, and again, part of the 150th celebration, just to celebrate our community and Trinidad's existence for 150 years. So, let's see. Where are we? Some of these other things that we have, but we haven't worked out details yet, but we would like to do a global golf tournament to highlight our golf course, a fall fest, and have a hay maze. We will be doing our Christmas cash campaign again this year. That turned out to be a nice campaign, and I think it helps support business downtown, and that's really our goal. A Taste of Trinidad, details depending on that. We'll do our annual Christmas tree lighting and parade of lights. That one we're planning on doing all on one evening instead of 2 separate evenings. And it will be in conjunction again with Hometown Holidays. Christmas tree lighting contest and, Christmas home lighting contest and business lighting contest. We'll be doing that at the end of the year, and then December 31st for New Year's, hopefully we'll be able to do fireworks, we'll see. It'll depend, I'm sure, on the operator and their availability, but we also want to host a casino night. Do something fun like that
On
for the
New Year's
community, yes, on New Year's
Yeah.
Eve, yeah. So,
Where would you want to do this casino night?
right here.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes. So,
I'll wear a bow tie.
Oh, yeah.
let me tell you too, at the beginning of the year, when we started planning all of this, we prepared a document, shared it with Colorado Municipal League. So that, they put it in their newsletter, and so that newsletter goes all over the state of Colorado. Granted, it goes to a lot of municipal people, but it still piques interest. And so that was one of the goals too, is just to continue piquing interest.
Really quick, do you want me to book that
Yes,
day?
please.
Put it in already, because somebody's gonna try to book it.
Yeah. We thought about trying to do, I can't even think now. Why can't I think? Not the light show, the video. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the projectors.
Yes. And we thought about doing that during a Rad Fest. I think what we're going to be able to do though is on that Friday do our drone show.
So the rep desk.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask about that.
We'll already have,
So that's similar to fireworks where we can still cash in on that contract and have them do it.
so the city didn't pay anything for that contract. That was the state of Colorado that paid for that.
Gotcha.
And,
How'd
yes,
that How did that work?
the state paid for it all over this. I think they did 58 locations, 54 locations throughout the state, and they paid for it.
Sweet. Yeah, I was gonna ask maybe about the possibility of having the street dance barbecue the same weekend as the Red also. So I don't know what all you guys, what we already may have turning, but we're always trying to think about ways to kind of activate downtown when all those people are here. Not everybody sticks around Saturday night after the race. More people are there Friday night, and they're obviously not going to go party on Friday night. But it just makes lightens things up. So not saying that you have to do that or I'm being behind. It's just an idea that popped up in my head as you were mentioning stuff in September.
Right. It's a little bit challenging because what we don't want to do is pull business away from the downtown restaurants. So I wouldn't want to put on a barbecue and then the restaurants lose out on that business.
Sure. And they're having a band that night anyway, right?
Yes, and they have a band that night. So that's why we're kind of doing the drone show at that point and hoping that that's a draw for them. We thought about doing the pickleball tournament on the Friday or Thursday? Friday. But one of the folks from the Trinidad pickleball group reached out to Lifetime and they didn't think that was going to be a good fit. So it's a challenge. We've tried to do what we can to get community involvement with that because that's really their goal too. We're open to ideas.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to do some things to bring the kids down and make it more family oriented to actually pull people down in the morning for the send off on Saturday morning. And so we have some things planned that way. Again,
What would be a good example of that?
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing in other places?
Because that would be, that's great, but
It's
I
part of a
was,
series.
how do you get kids down there?
I was, okay.
so we're planning on doing face painting for the kids, and if they ride their bikes down, they'll get an ice cream or whatever. We'll get an ice cream truck here, and they'll get an ice cream, and they'll get pom poms.
What about a little mini race for kids like around Chimino or something, like just setting up cones so if they do come down with a bike, they can still have a little mass start for the kids. they could win some type of prize or something.
It's a good idea. Mini kid race. You know, one year we did, I don't know if you remember, we did the disability race.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a lot of fun too. Again, I don't know if it necessarily meets their goal of getting our community involved. I don't know how to do with what they would like to have done. So, I mean, again, we're open to ideas. I think what we have this year in mind will be a good start to see if we can get people down here with their families and the kids and here for the send-off. I think that would be a good start for it anyhow. But,
Yeah, it's tricky, you know. So it just takes time to hit that kind of critical mass, and a lot of people just aren't going to care about cycling, which is fine. The event is a little bit smaller than what you see in some of the other communities, and that's part of the excitement is just like, oh, there's a bunch of people here, you know, and going out to feel the energy or whatever. But you do see a lot more folks lined up at the start line at, you know, the steamboat gravel or, you know, obviously the really huge one is on Mountain, which is also a lifetime thing. And we're never going to get Mountain, that's the biggest race in the world for gravel. But, you know, there's hundreds of people all lined up along the railings for that start. Right. So I think that's kind of what they're gunning for, is just to build that race day excitement downtown. And it's not unique to the RAD, but I'm sure you guys know this better than most. The Main Street events, when it's closed, are just like, for some reason, a tough nut for Trinidad. You know, more businesses will outright close, which to me is just mind-boggling. So that's something maybe we just put our heads together with, like the chamber a little bit, encouraging people to be open, like put your sidewalk signs out. You know, maybe we can activate the actual sidewalks themselves a little bit more. People,
we've attempted that too.
Yeah, I know, like Olivia over there at Alden has done like a tent outside or like DJ and stuff like that.
So Christine Loud from Emergent Campus is going to work with the chamber to go down and speak with the businesses and see if they can get that built on a little bit. So.
Yeah, I know Robert has done some work on messaging around that kind of thing too. So, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. Just any ways we can build on the large events we have going.
So, I guess that's it for our update for today. We'll follow up with details, listing where people came from, how we feel the events went monetarily, those sorts of things after we get through some of these events, because it's our jobs are busy.
Yeah.
We've kind of farmed out all of our weekends, not all of them, but a lot of them this year, to these events. But what I've preached forever is that people don't pay for things anymore. They pay for things to do. They want something to do when they travel. Experience.
Yeah, it's all about
exactly.
For sure.
And so, again, it's part of our goal. We want to give people experiences and hope that they come back and that they've enjoyed their time in Trinidad. And I'll say again, those fishing tournaments absolutely met that goal. So.
I'm a little curious, just general philosophy and working with Tara as you guys are planning the city-owned and managed events versus things like the RAD where it's a partnership. I do see benefits for like the smaller scale stuff that can be managed in-house. You know, the partner can't just like pull up stakes and leave, for example. We can keep things running. It's also less overall production outside of stuff like Santa Fe Trail Days. But a couple things that I've had in mind, one would be like a triathlon, like off-road triathlon at the lake. That would definitely take somebody who's knows what they're doing to run it.
Exactly.
But ideally the city, maybe some help from our board or whatever, would be going out to solicit that person and sell them on it, get them down here. Would have to work with the lake and Army Corps on that as well. But we're already working with the lake on the fishing tournaments. There's not very many off-road triathlons anywhere. There's one or two in Colorado they sell out every single year. So logistically, a little challenging, but that's something we can brainstorm with the race director on to figure out how that will work. What's the other one? Oh, Santa Fe Trail Days, and you mentioned, the county fair has moved off of Labor Day. I feel like those two would make a ton of sense to align. Historically, a lot of times county fairs are also, a big carnival. I don't know if it makes sense to do everything up at the rodeo grounds, but thinking about the setup this year, you mentioned, people in the carnival not moving back and forth. So, if you're able to use like the arena for concert area or the parking lot or something, maybe it's a more natural space to move around. There's a ton of room up there. It's kind of an underutilized facility. So I know that's an independent group that runs the county fair. So I don't know if that's more trouble than it's worth looking at. But since we saw the rodeo come and go once already, that's a historic event. And it works very well thematically with the Santa Fe Trail Days in terms of just the name and everything. So that was one where I thought there might be an opportunity to kind of partner up and make it a bigger overall event over a whole weekend.
So what I would say to that though is, my opinion only, they're filling a weekend with events. We filled a separate weekend with events. I think we need to keep that in mind instead of making one big event. And what if people can't make it to one? Well, then they missed both. And I think it's important to keep our calendar packed with events. So second to that, the county fairgrounds is outside of our city limits. We wouldn't reap any benefit of sales tax from anything that happens there. So that's just my 2 cents on this.
Sure.
I think we really need to keep the calendar packed.
It's not exactly my department or our department, but the location, I think, could be improved upon. It feels, the 2 years I've been involved, we're on asphalt, we're on concrete. And the one shady area that, Main Street Live participated in was that when we did our restaurant shootout last year. And the inconvenience of moving people around was well worth it so that you could be in the shade. But I saw those, Latina dancers and the makeup is running down their face because they're on tarmac,
Right.
In the heat of the day. And the same for the bands that are on the stage. There's not enough shade. JC, who works for you guys and for me, is just red from head to toe and can't drink enough water because it is so pleasant hot. So it just feels like the location doesn't lend itself to the weather that we're experiencing. And I don't know if there's a way to adjust that to help the downtown business areas more because we just cut off Animal Street, right? And closing downtown is always an issue for folks. But I don't know if there's another location, the county courthouse, up here that's got trees and shade that doesn't block off so much, or and maybe the field down here next to the gym is just full. We can't do anything about it. I don't know. I spent very little time out there, not because I don't think it's a fun event. It's like I moved here to get out of the heat, and so I just don't want to swelter,
Right.
The whole time. That's been an issue for me the last 2 years, and I don't know if that's a part of the planning to, as you say, to bring people to enjoy it, to say this was a really fun event.
We'll order a big thing of clouds next year. Super.
Some of the feedback that we've gotten from some businesses, because all of the businesses are invited to set up a booth and participate in Santa Fe Trail Festival, is they like it because people park in front of their businesses, patronize their businesses, and then go over to the event.
Yeah, Los Angeles Pizza was slammed
Good.
when I was down there.
They're the only pizza place in town.
For now. What about Los Niños? The hardest thing is the carnival, right? The carnival
Yes.
that needs a big flat area. But for the stage and vendor setup, Los Niños would be a good one. I mean, talk about an underutilized park over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that's worth considering, because I agree that just in general, the Safeway lot there, or the city lot, leaves a little bit to be desired, even
No,
just
it's
in terms
convenient,
of.
but it's miserable.
Well, and it's not that we do it out of convenience either, though. We do that so that we're not impacting businesses negatively by closing off the street so much. There's no businesses that are impacted where we put it. Second to that, we have visibility from the interstate, and people literally pulled off the interstate because they saw the event
See the
going on.
carnival, yeah.
Yes. So I don't know what we do. It's a hot time of year. That's the truth of it. Maybe we get a water feature. I don't know what else though, because I get what you're saying. You know, I totally understand what you're saying, because we lived in that heat for the 3 days,
Oh, sure.
all the way through, and it's hard. But at the same time, I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we would see the same successes moving it to a different location where we don't have that interstate visibility.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you switch places with Carnival was in the football field, and if the event was, you know, more Santa Fe Trailblazers events were on the football field, and they were in the Safeway parking lot and the city parking lot, because nobody cares, they're gonna go anyway, right? They are gonna go. You can put them in a basement, and people will find them.
Oh, yeah. True.
Kids are gonna rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the updates.
Yes.
Like I said, I think we'd all be mostly curious to see the budgetary numbers. And yeah, we're doing our budget today. We have to get that to Tara like next week. So if you have a chance to just pull some reports on those, that'd be awesome. Right now, we'll probably just pencil in just estimations. So yeah. Anyone else have any questions?
Guys, we're so busy.
So we're trying to build our tourism.
Cool. Yeah, I think we can in general be more collaborative.
I like the triathlon idea. I think that's a great idea, and I agree. It'll pull a lot of people here.
Well, and in terms of promotions and whatnot, right now things are pretty up in the air with TIQ. So we'll see what happens rolling into next year as far as, you know, who's running social media and stuff. I don't think Felicia's been doing a bad job or anything, but we want to make sure everything's cohesive, you know, that everything's represented across all of our channels and everything. So mostly let's just keep staying in touch on city events that you guys are managing in-house, so we can make sure that we're pushing that out wherever we're doing promotional things to, or at least where it makes sense, you know.
You know, sitting on this board, and you know, our focus is tourism. There's a whole lot that y'all reported that I didn't know you were doing. It's almost like you have a tourism department that is not named. None established, because you guys are doing a lot of it on your own time, and obviously there's going to be some, you know, on city time. So the more we can work together, we're both, our goals are the same.
Exactly.
You know, you create, you know, even if it's some small events that you're doing, you know, each month. One of the things that I've always stressed is, you know, whether it be theater, nightclubs, museums, different things. The more we have, that creates a destination. Trinidad is a destination because it does have so many things going on and constantly. So I do encourage us to, communication is the key. You know, we know what you guys are doing and want to do. You know what we're doing and want to do, and how we can, you know, complement each other. So
Yeah, ideally in advance.
in advance helps. Yeah, telling us after the fact is a little frustrating. But you know, if there's something, even if we can't help, knowing it may eventually, you know, help build it. And I commend you for, you know, what you're doing to, you know, let's all work together.
Yeah. So we didn't try or want to certainly purposefully exclude tourism this board from any of this. Again, we were planning these events for our 150th. I'm always interested in tourism. I have always tried to figure out what we can do, what events we can put on, how we can draw people. Even some of the Christmas things that we've done downtown, those things happen because we're trying to help our community. And so it's certainly not because we're trying to keep any of this secret. None of it's a secret. We're trying to
I've
get.
said here several times, like, man, I wish I had known about the bocce tournament. I didn't know about it until afterwards, and we didn't find out in the normal means of communication.
Yeah.
You're sort of here, or now that money's missing from our budget. You know, where's that
I
coming
also,
from?
I do wanna say though,
It is the communication thing, because I'm not opposed to bocce. I went out and I love the hot dogs, thank you. You know? Or the bass fishing, I don't think anybody in this room said, oh, we shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
We're just like, man, it would have been great if we'd known about it.
Right.
Because I feel like we're on the same team.
Yeah, this is a good.
Oh, I agree with
This is a good start.
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
maybe it would be helpful if y'all could come on more often.
Well,
Maybe like at least quarterly.
Yeah.
Where
No,
someone
that's
from
not
Clerk's
wrong.
office can come to a meeting.
Yeah, that way you don't have to do this is all the stuff we did.
Yeah,
Here's
I
the
don't-
stuff that's around the
I
corner.
don't mind making the time to come to the meetings. Sometimes it's a little sketchy because like today is a payroll day and so we need to get back to the office. But I certainly don't mind coming to the meetings. Kim can come in my place or whatever just to keep you up to date on things. I really think our common goal though going forward needs to be let's keep our calendar busy. Let's get things on our
I
calendar.
just wanted to quickly say, everybody has a lot of grandiose ideas, but nobody wants to put the work in besides the city staff is the one doing the work. It was city staff that ran that entire Sunday Trails with no board, hardly any boards that were volunteering or came down to even ask. I asked all my boards if they wanted to come down and volunteer, didn't get a response. So it's all on city staff that's doing having to do all this.
We were never.
Yeah.
I emailed everybody and sent including.
And I'm sorry, I missed that because I was volunteering.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, I didn't agree.
And I'm just like, I just missed.
We go from this day forward, you know, we're in a process. I mean, the tourism
The only,
lodging just a second, the tourism lodging board has had a little, few hiccups over, past, so that could have affected some of the communication. I think we need to concentrate on that communication.
Right.
And the fact that it's the same goal. We're all working for the city of Trinidad, the citizens of Trinidad, and, the staff and the boards, and we need to continue to do that. So, just move forward.
Right. The other thing and I'll close with this, the other thing that Felicia's been trying really hard to do too is when we learn of performances, for instance, she'll put those on the Visit Trinidad, Colorado Facebook page. The shore tournament, we put a teaser out there. Keep checking back, Visit Trinidad, Colorado to see when registration opens. To make people go back to that page and see what's going on. And I hear what you're saying about, well, we're a little bit of our own tourism department. I would have to agree in some respect, but it wouldn't just be our city clerk's office. I mean, our gas utility director, when we're talking events, he's like, oh, we should do this or we should do that. I have those grandiose ideas too. I want to make our train have a motion thing in the inside where people can get in, like the rides in Las Vegas where it's moving. I want that so bad because people visit that train like all the time, like no other. And so if we can make it an experience, again, those experiences are where people are going to put their money. So
We're off to a good start.
yeah.
Great. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, thank you. We'll get you some more reports, some ideas on where we are budget-wise and that sort of thing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a nice 2 weeks.
Yeah, you too. Bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you.
So old business, we'll start with, I'm gonna flip these, start with reviewing the proposed lodging tax ordinance. It should be a little quicker than the budget
Does
discussion.
everybody have a copy, or does everybody need like a physical copy?
I can also pull up the screen, I'll grab a copy from you. Thank you.
I could bring a couple more if anybody wants, I can give you a copy. You want one?
Sure. Yeah.
Does anybody else want one? Well, kind
Alright, so, we've been asked to just provide any feedback on this, obviously, the powers that be can take or leave that as far as if they actually put it in this proposed ordinance or not. But this will be going back to council again, so us to get through one more work session, which will be the next one.
Next Monday.
I think it's next Monday, so they have asked us to attend if able. I think Tara may or may not be asked to speak or not, but just in case they had any last questions for the board, so.
And that's the work session.
Correct.
On the 27th.
So can we, if we agree on something, send a recommendation that they can consider?
So what we should be doing today, looking at this, redlining with any recommendations, that will go back to Tara via Victor, and then should be inserted if they want it to be before that meeting, yes.
So it'd be up to Tara to submit it or to the council to receive the recommendation?
Yeah, well, the council's gonna get one ordinance, so our goal is to get our changes inserted, but
Who makes a decision if our
yeah,
changes?
that's gonna be Tara and city legal, right? So, that is probably the main reason we want to be present. So say we suggest something that doesn't go in there, we have an opportunity to say, for the record, the board recommended this change.
That didn't make
That
it
did
big
not
on
make it.
ordinance, yeah.
Yes.
I have one, that would be inserted during the, let's see, it would be, see, it's under section 747 tourism board. And a couple of places it could be inserted, but one of the things that they wanted, and they changed it so it was just a recommendation that whoever is appointed have tourism or marketing experience. And I watched so many of these appointments with the council, and a lot of times they simply go on, person comes up, talks to them, and they say, okay, they might have, a resume or something from, but not always. If the board, just like we propose potential grant applications, and marketing, if we vetted any applicants and said, yes, we recommend this person, send it to the council and they let them decide after our recommendation, simply because we have a better handle on it than they might possibly have.
So you're saying just suggest adding, that this board would have the ability to interview or to.
Yeah, interview or that or whatever, any potential applicants, if there was somebody that, Joe Blow off the street that ate at, the smokehouse occasionally, not a good applicant, then we wouldn't recommend it to the council.
Yeah, I wonder how that fits through. So I agree, it's something that we've also, I think I've already mentioned. What I'm curious about is, so members of the board will be appointed in accordance with section 8.3 of the city's charter. So, does that open a can of worms in terms of the larger boards and commissions language that this is referencing in section 8.3? But we can mention it, just say, add some language that the board may advise on potential appointees, and that would fit here on item two.
And that would give us at least something in there.
Yeah, it's just something ahead of, what that one particular item, states, it's still the council, appointing the person, approving it or disapproving it. All we're doing is, we recommend this person because they do have, the experience that, the council is looking for. How you work a new.
Yeah, and I think that they don't want to tie their hands by saying that it's required to have experience in the related industries just because we have such difficulty filling our boards.
Right.
So they're leaving that open by just saying preference may be given. I kind of feel like I should say preference should be given instead of may be given. So it still leaves options, but it also kind of instructs them that the goal is to find those people, right?
So now, to change that one word, and then, allow us to send our recommendations on people.
So I just made a note that said the board may recommend or advise on potential new members. Is that basically what you're saying?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll have to set the language,
Right.
sort of the legalese, but yeah, that's the general gist. I know here too, so. Add language that the board may review applications and advise on potential appointees.
And make sure that we let them know this is not that we're trying to take that away from them or do something. It's to aid the city council in their decision making on the kind of tourism board members they want.
Right, we're just advising.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Chris, you say on one other thing?
And I did have one other thing I think we probably talked about it before, just we are to recommend basically everything we do to the city council. If we could narrow that down or maybe more precise that as far as marketing is concerned, that we present them a budget that includes. The old board used to go to, we went to budgeting. We budgeted so much for print, we budgeted so much for broadcasting, so much for this and that. That was, DIQ or anything like that. And then we knew how much money we had for billboards, for radio, for any of those things. And then we were able to go out and put those together in that budget. The way this ordinance reads, that we can send them that budget and then should be able to go out and, because if we have to, recommend and then get, approval of every single buy, which I don't think is what they're really trying to get, to get here, is it would so stifle our ability to do something. There could be something come up print-wise, and we have the budget to do it that makes sense that we didn't know about. And if we wait the 2 or 3 weeks, the bureaucracy and what it takes to get things through, we could miss out on some things. So basically, what I'm saying is approve a budget for marketing that we spend from. If the budget needs to be altered later on, there is a provision in there already to go back to them and say, we have an opportunity to do this, but our budget that we presented to you for billboards is spent. So we would like to take 30,000 out of print and do it. So we've got that option to at least go back and ask for more if it comes up.
I think that's covered already, so the language here is all lodging tax expenditures and commitments shall be administered on a pay-as-you-go basis. Consistently, reserve requirements, established by city council, require council approval of specific purpose and amount. Such approval may be granted through the annual budget process. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Do you think that's sufficient enough that it's?
Yes, by resolution, by motion, or any other formal action of city council. So basically that says money can be spent any way that council normally spends money. So that includes if it's the middle of the year, we go to them and say, we recommend that you know, reallocate this portion of the budget, which we set. That would be like a resolution or a motion that they could then make to make on-the-fly adjustments.
If you're satisfied that's covered, I didn't read that into it, but I can see your explanation. You know,
It's assumed that any expenditures that we make have to be consistent with city policies and procurement procedures, right? Which is why the contract with DIQ has been brought into question a number of times, because that procedure wasn't followed, right? I did hear at that work session that more than one councilman said, yeah, we don't want to go over the expenditures with a fine-tooth comb. We don't want you guys coming to us with every single one of those things. That seemed like micromanagement to me, and that seemed to be with the intended language that I read here, which is that we go to council and say, this is how we want to spend the money. For some reason, they asked us a heck of a lot of questions about billboards on April 7th. You know, but I don't expect to have that happen every time we go to them.
yeah. It's just I've seen things that they weren't spelled out, and we expect them to be a certain way that we wind up getting there for whatever reason. It winds up, oh no, you can't do that, and it's like, but that's what I understood we could do. You know, not me saying that, but you know, us.
Well, it says that we're supposed to report to them quarterly, and so some of, and on those quarterly meetings, we would be able to say, here's where we plan to spend money.
Yeah, and I mean, ideally, most of this is set up in our budget that we're about to be looking at momentarily. So yeah, that doesn't have to be totally granular down to the ad, right? Instead, it's just saying we intend to spend X amount of dollars on billboards next year, or radio, or print, and then it would be up to us to then divvy that up throughout the course of the year.
And as a part of the budget process, I mean, what we're doing now, they're already approving it. What we mostly have to ask for is variations to that, is what I read from this.
Sure, I mean, there's always going to be stuff that changes on the fly, but this is just that's just how budgeting works, you know, like, you set your budget for the year, as things come up, you try and fit it in where you had it budgeted, and if it doesn't, then you look at ways to address that, but, yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page, and I think that this draft ordinance doesn't impede that.
Yeah, we announced the grants before the council approves them.
So all that stuff.
So I don't think they are. I mean, it does not appear that the climate is that they want to make one about all of it.
Well, there's a council member that does not appreciate that,
Yeah.
and so,
107.
well, I don't know, I mean, they're,
Okay, and I agree, it's wonky.
So I mean, even though it's recorded and everybody can see what the
Yes.
grants are given,
Yeah.
we still can't release it until it's approved by the city manager's office.
well, yeah, that's because we're also just recommending it.
Right.
The council has to see how much money that is, where it's going, and have an opportunity to vote yea or nay. So,
So that was my fault for putting it on social media, so I apologize for that.
It's
well,
not the only time, and I would have thought, I would have thought, had this been, a procedural error, they would have mentioned it previously.
yeah, it's worth thinking about.
I know, get everything done.
We should think about that in general when it comes to grants, about timeline, clearly communicating what that is to the grant recipients, and how we announce things. Because there may or may not be harm in announcing, you know, this is what the board has recommended, but it's still has to go to council. We just have to make sure we're careful about language there.
So it's the word congratulations and recommendations that we're looking for here.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe the answer is to just hold until it makes its way through council. We could still notify recipients and
Yeah.
say,
It's based on pending approval.
We are recommending this.
Cause they get antsy and of course they want to know.
Yeah. So confirming, what council meeting that would be at, because then you can also tell the recipient, we're recommending this is the date it's gonna get voted on, so you can keep your eyes out for that.
Yeah, which is not an ordinance thing, it's a procedural thing.
Correct.
Right.
We're getting
We're
kind of getting outside of our scope for today, but yeah, it's worth bringing up at this time, because I just got a note from UJRS asking for details.
Yeah.
And I was careful to say, by the way, this is all just what we're advising, and it's not a done deal. Cool. Ordinance wise, anything else you guys,
No, I mean, like Chris, I was concerned with the sort of the micromanagement aspect of it, but as I read the language of it, it seemed like this seemed consistent with what the tenor of the discussions was, what we talked about. It makes it abundantly clear in several places that we are in an advisory capacity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really felt like they really respect this board and they want your true opinions on your expertise in what they
It
decide.
just felt like a lot of the language here was marking territory.
Yeah.
They don't want to approve the bills before they've been told that we've done it. So, and now it's the city that's making that mistake.
Yeah, and what is interesting is that I think that it is assumed that anything that we recommended be enacted is consistent with the language of the ordinance, but non-specific enough so that we can do a variety of marketing techniques and come up with a plan that we feel like is coherent for a year. That's what I got out of it, in broad strokes. It was only, I'm going to look and see if I can find the question about, consistent with the overall aim of the tourism board, which is that the expenditures match up with the idea that we are promoting tourism in all its aspects, right? That we have the ability to define what that means.
Right.
I would, so kind of related, so it says recommendations of the board involving proposed expenditures shall be made during the public meeting and then transmitted to council in writing. So I don't know if it needs to be explicit in the ordinance necessarily, but this has come up a few different times. It's just like, right, city, staff, boards, and then council, and potential for wires getting crossed, messages not getting through. So like right now, we kind of rely on you, Victor, to pass things up the chain. Should we change that where like I draft a memo after each meeting that's like, here's the things that came up today that we're recommending, and just send that directly to council, like their email addresses, so they just have a
I
basically.
wouldn't send that directly to council. I would send that to the city manager's office first. Then she can put it in her packets for the next council meeting.
Gotcha.
Just so I think you can, once you do that, then somebody replies and it starts an open meeting. So,
Or somebody doesn't check their emails.
yes. And then it's officially in their packet.
Okay.
What do we think about the pay-as-you-go in practical terms? I mean, we've discussed this in the past, but it says in more than one place that basically we shouldn't be giving money away right now because we don't know how much money we made in quarter one or two.
I'm fine with that. The forecasting obviously is problematic. There's too many X factors involved to be able to realistically forecast where the fund would be next year. We talked a lot about that and the overall downturn in tourism. Nationally, we have things like the fires this year. I had a guy at a bike rental reservation canceled, said they were going to like Idaho or something instead after Aspen Acres flared up. And I don't think they were probably sticking around Trinidad, they're just here for a day or two and then going somewhere else nearby. But that's stuff you can't really predict, right? So treating it more like a savings account, I think makes a lot of sense. So it's like
And I think it makes sense, and it is gonna be harder to administer. Because we can't spend what we.
So you'll have any changes that you want to make to this? You're gonna put it in a memo, or
yeah,
is
I'll
everybody kind of?
email
Okay.
Tara and copy you.
Okay.
The only things we had were potentially some language in the appointee area there.
Well, I have this question about this ordinance. If this is enacted in 1 month's time, they read it out. Does this board not have any money now for the rest of the year because that's the new ordinance? Because we don't have it, because we've been playing, pulling aside money over a period of years.
Doesn't change our current budget, especially because our current budget already has a reserve that is building for next year. So we've essentially already made that switch in terms of how the 2026 budget is set.
So even if the ordinance changes and we are no longer under this charter, our budget for this year is
the same.
As it was set for as
For 26.
It's allocated already.
Yep, that's already all set.
It's all,
That
this
totally-
is all 27.
that makes sense to me. Then how do we budget for 27?
Well, that's a great segue if we're all done with ordinance things, because that's next up on the agenda. And we're already over an hour in here, so. See, I don't want to rush anybody. I mean, the budget is super important. I mentioned Luann that we might get together.
Offline and.
Yeah, just to polish it up before we hand it off to Tara. But we do want to run through everything today.
And there's some big holes.
Yeah,
So I mean, I basically gave us a template to start,
sure.
and then I can update.
Are you guys, so, does anyone have anything else on the draft ordinance before we move on?
No, nothing.
Easy peasy. If you do have anything else, let me get back to me before Thursday, I'd say, something pops up in your head. I'll sit on this for a couple days before I send it out to Tara, Victor, so.
Because that is what, the 29th?
Next Monday.
It's 27th. So Tara won't be here, so we'll have to send it to me, I'll send it to Audra, Tara, because Tara's out until the end of the month. And then we'll make sure that's in their packets.
There is a chance I missed that meeting. We're coming back from Santa Fe on Monday, so it kind of depends on when we get back into town. But we don't really have anything major.
Yeah. And I'll be there. There will be numbers.
As far as it's not another 4-hour meeting.
Gosh, I hope not. Yeah, I bailed twice on the last couple of meetings, so I was like, I'm kind of done here. Tim, 4 hours, and
Yeah.
some surgically repaired back.
We're gonna have to buy him a special chair.
No, it
Was it pretty bad on him?
was just long.
But you can't medicate.
No, you cannot meditate, or you will not be effective.
I don't know. Sometimes I get more effective.
Oh, you know what? I suggest that to him.
Chairs in the audience are horrible. They destroy my back, and I don't have patience.
Yeah.
So I can imagine they did it to him. I know I'm a little dramatic at times, but
But it's pretty.
it's pretty bad. Just like, no, you're not dramatic, baby.
No, I'm not.
Gosh, Victor, what do you mean?
I wasn't doing that at all.
That was a little goal there. So is this on my drive or where is this?
Yeah, I'll put it on
Okay, all right.
the drive.
Apparently I'm not inclined, and it's like, he wouldn't let me, and I couldn't get into the old budget. I don't have access to that part of the drive either.
Get that. It's joking, turn on the TV.
Joe, you wanna try this?
I did.
I just did, oh, well, one of us did something I thought I saw like there.
All right, there we go.
Y'all are pretty smart.
Well, this is how technically advanced I am.
There we go.
I can plug something in.
That's pretty much all I can do as well.
Yeah, it's a smart TV. It was smarter than the person who was trying to operate it.
All right. So Luann's kind of up to lay some groundwork for us here.
And this is just groundwork.
Yeah. As you probably all recall, we are starting with basically a repeat from this year. I do overall like the format.
Okay.
Basically, makes sense.
Is that accessible for us?
Not currently. I'll put it on the share drive after we make any changes today.
I didn't bring the
Oh,
distance glasses.
I want to put it onto the either G drive or the CTLTAB share so we can all hand it off in one so we don't have version problems later.
I got it here.
Okay, cool. So, the one broad thing budget-wise, this kind of relates to the ordinance too, that I kind of have mixed feelings about, is that, when Terry and I had sat down for 2026, she kind of said, like, you're gonna have $100,000 towards grants and $100 towards marketing and advertising. And it ends up resulting in a lot of the fun the city kind of just keeps, and it feels like we're not advising on. To me, the way the ordinance is structured is that the board advises on lodging fund expenditures, hard stop, right? And so there's a lot of stuff that we didn't have visibility into in order to have the opportunity. I mean, I've said this 100 million times, like I'm not trying to touch everything or control everything. However, I think in the spirit of the ordinance, the board is there to advise on whatever money is being spent out of this fund. So if we're repeating that budgetary process, it's the same story where the big thing is our 80 to 100,000 in recreational from this past year. We didn't really touch any of that, and it went into all these city events, and that's kind of just the city doing their thing out of the lodging funds, right? The way to me it makes sense to budget, we have some of those items in here, and so ideally, we have a target amount for city events. If we're going to still hand that over to city staff and say, go do what you want, with your monthly events, we need a dollar amount in this budget for those events. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, and that's basically what you asked for.
Correct. I was really hoping they were coming with that today because you kind of need it. So, Luann, it looks like you wrote this maybe based on the new ordinance where it says here the allowable categories.
Yeah, and because I didn't try and put 25% anywhere,
Right.
I put it where it made sense to me, which may not be where it makes sense to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not married to any of this.
Yeah. So based on that draft ordinance, it says here are the things that you generally can spend on. And so on the left-hand side here, these are those top level ones. So tourism, promotion, and marketing, so that's advertising, services, conferences, conventions, meetings, youth, quality of life improvements. Yeah, that's an interesting one there. Facilities.
I kind of took this out of the ordinance. But
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then arts, cultural events. Do you see a couple things we may want to drop in there potentially?
Yes.
Based on our repeat.
And that was,
Yep.
I put some in, but I knew there was going to be more.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're open to comment.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where you guys want to start on this.
Well, I would start with the grants budget. The 100,000 to me is too low for a couple of reasons. One is our listing right here, which exceeds it already, right? It doesn't include everyone, right? We're at 107, and it doesn't include everyone that we.
Yeah, oh, okay, and I'm sorry, let me just say, and I need to change, I need to put another column in here. That's not the budgeted amount. the budgeted amount is the $480,000. That's strictly a total of what's in there.
Gotcha. So this 107
That's just a total, well, that's just a total of the estimated expenditure.
It's
It's
not the
not,
budget.
it's not the budget.
Uh-huh.
Right, well, it just leads to my thinking is that,
I'm gonna move that over really.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
One, there is no, and Joe had this discussion, there is no other means by which the city can fund cultural events. This is pretty much it, right? And so it seems to me that being that 100,000 number, not just because of that, but because of the philosophy of what it is we're supposed to be doing, is too low a percentage of our budget. In other words, if what we're supposed to be doing, what we spend the majority of our time doing, is looking at grants, evaluating them, and awarding them, then that ought to be reflected in the amount of budgetary resources that are available to us. The other thought about that is that the lack of categories actually helps us do that, right? It enables us to set aside monies to support what we think are worthy expenditures of tourist lodging tax funds that fit a wide variety of categories. Not just arts and culture, but those are the people who keep coming to us, right?
Right.
And I, in a small town economy, and in most economies, it's just not possible for cultural organizations to pay as you go in the way that the ordinance talks about. If that makes sense. I mean, that's a much longer discussion, but it's the position, it seems to me, that when you look at that list, what I am told anecdotally and what I know about their operations is that the money is vital. It's not icing on the cake.
It's not. In most cases, it is absolutely not. I agree.
Right. And so it feels like the tourism board is filling a really important niche in the funding of organizations that are trying to make things better for everyone, whether they be more local or whether they be wider world.
Some don't think they really needed to add the youth activities as a separate thing, because that's just a community event.
Okay.
No, you don't need to change that. That's in the ordinance. That was a request of council members.
One of the allowable expenses.
Yes. But to me, that just fits under the existing ones. It's just kind of youth events is
Kind of like they do now, or what the citywide events are doing.
Yeah, some of those are geared towards youth. Yeah, they just want to see more of it, I think. And we do hear that from the community a lot, that there's not enough for kids to do. So I think the main thing that always comes up are like the youth sports leagues in the summertime. And that's something we have actually formally recommended a couple of years ago to council. Was doing, I think we wanted to do like a soccer league.
That's Parks and Rec right now.
There is no Parks and Rec department.
Yeah, well, it's a Parks and Rec kind of expense. It feels like that's the thing, because I've had a discussion with Tara, and she talked about how parents want stuff for their kids to do as well.
But it's something that within this framework we could potentially fund. So
You do youth events at
We do all the time now. We're doing one now with the Ross. We have 20 some odd kids in that show.
Really?
Yeah,
It's exciting.
it is. Yeah, in addition to the other camps and workshops that we do.
Good.
So yeah, top level down here, can't really touch any of this stuff. 20% is going out.
Yep.
says up to 20, but we're budgeting the full 20. And that is some in the general funds and then the trolley.
That is back into that number, obviously.
Yeah.
It will go into the general fund.
So that leaves us 384.6 remaining. If you subtract the totals that it has in here so far, there's an additional 83,150 that's not touched. However, once again, no idea how much all these city events are going to run in total. I can't imagine it's all the way up to 80,000, especially because some of them are bringing money back in via entry fees and whatnot. But I kind of feel like we can't do anything with this until we have more info on that. Maybe a really small portion we could pencil in, or even up.
And I think that we probably really need to look at the numbers that on that first category, the promotion and marketing, because I am not at all sure that I am good on those numbers. I mean, I put $100,000 in, even though I don't think that we're probably going to do Destination IQ, but we will do something. And it may or may not be that expensive. I mean, if we are able to find some different sources, some different local talent, some different, whatever we do, it's still gonna be a big chunk of the budget, I would think.
So, and we have Mitchell in here. Oh yeah, because they applied specifically
For,
that's
I
what
mean, that's why I put it there.
right, as opposed to
Individual.
I almost wonder if while we're at it, we go ahead and just switch that up, where we say, yeah, I mean, they have been coming to us writing a grant in that way, but it's because they know that is a successful way to do it. And maybe we say, we went ahead, set aside budgetary line items for you guys.
And move it down to our.
And you can spend it on whatever you want. And we'll still help promote you with our promotion machine, as long as you tell us what you have going on.
I really think we do need to do a summer dive again.
Yeah, I think
We could somehow put that,
well, not summer guide, but visitors guide.
not visitors guide, I'm sorry.
We definitely want that in here.
We have absolutely nothing to give people anymore because we just couldn't print them anymore. They were very outdated. So
Yeah, updating and printing a new run of those should definitely be in here.
And how much typically would that be?
Wonder if I can find our previous round. It's not cheap. The printing costs are a big piece of that. The redesign should
Wasn't that the one that was like $7,500 or something?
It's probably more than
oh wait, I think that was
Was it a lot more?
the gravel. Was that the gravel guide? The reprinted the gravel guide?
We did not. I don't think we've ever.
that. We got quotes on that, and it was like
13.
more because we need revisions on it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I was going to bring up for next year's budget as well, is an update and a reprint of those.
Did I miss did you not put 5,000 in for Cherry Road?
I didn't put I
It
did.
looks like you got it for the World Journal, but not for Cherry Road. And again, this was something I discovered this year, and apparently the city had said that's what we're gonna do.
They said that is
The
what
city did
because
take some money.
I knew that we had talked about Cherry Road last time, last meeting, and I just did not remember that we said we were.
I think that was something that we inherited. Is
Then I need to
the
put it
5 for the
in.
World Journal, the 5 for the, yeah, and the 1250 for the Raton guide as well.
And I think I put,
Sort of one of those.
I put the Raton Visitors Guide in there. And it was 5,000 for Cherry Road.
I believe that was the idea.
Did you find anything on the visitor guide?
No.
I might be able to find,
you know, for the two
different
different
invoice.
organizations.
Yeah, that would be super helpful.
Because I think, was there a grant for that helped, or was that just the website? So we got
Maybe it was
that
just the website.
Okay, so you'll want to consider the print, the design, and then the reprints if we need to print them out again.
That or the gravel guide are things we could look at those marketing grants.
Right,
For
for
the
this, for
CTO.
Yeah.
And that may be coming up.
I think I just got an email from that.
Well, January and July were the deadlines, I thought. Is it? Am I not remembering it?
You definitely want
No,
something.
August 20th for the tourism marketing grant.
So we have a little bit of time on that.
You know, we could potentially, you know, just plan on this. We aren't guaranteed to win it, but to do a visitor guide reprint on this.
I think we had Lindsay do it, didn't we, from DIQ last time? But this is
No.
probably something you can
The
do.
last one went out to, for the grant, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, we could do the grant.
okay.
The board can do it. Sorry, I'm signing this all over. It's probably gonna be meaningless.
I offered
Well,
to work on it, and you were like, I can knock this out in an hour and a half, or
Yeah.
something like that. So I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help.
Great development, ad production, photography, marketing, collateral, print and visual brochures, yeah.
This is a 4-to-1 match, is that right?
If we put in, so what we would want to budget is, for 4-to-1, it's 2,500 to 20,000.
Yeah.
I would think we can get a decent print run for 20,000.
This is graphic.
I was saying we just go ahead and do a visitor's guide.
Visitor's guide,
Because that's one that we know we need.
It's
Travel
crucial.
guide, I would like to budget, but it's, that's a decision the board should vote on. I think.
Sure, what's the visitors, do we have any idea what the actual cost is? You're just guessing?
No, we just been talking about that.
Okay.
yeah,
Did you tell me to put in 20 grand?
Well, it's a 4-to-1 match, so that means we would put in
Fine. Okay, that's.
would we start it on this current budget, or would it go into the 2027 budget?
2027.
Okay.
Well, that's a good question. I wonder,
That's the other part about it, if the ordinance changes in 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is, the process takes to do it, then we're unencumbered and we're actually able to spend some of that money without having to worry about categories.
yeah, I guess if we do this,
Yeah.
if we do
So
this
we could.
right round, if we do this grant round, it would be, it could still be next budget, because it says through December of 2027 is the project performance period. So we can still do that for next year,
Okay. I would love to have it for by next spring.
for the next season.
Yeah, for the next season.
Okay, so 5K for a
Okay.
match. We're not guaranteed to win that grant, but
If you write it.
Okay, so I'm
so
just.
on ChatGPT right
Yes.
We'll have Margaret.
Absolutely.
now.
Well, you're competing against people who are using it, so.
Yes, it might stand out even more.
Yeah, you're just gonna say, we want money, give it
I
now.
am a trained writer. That's literally what it's
And
Well,
it's
I mean,
a dark.
the way to stand out.
Oh, it's to be.
It's part of the grant budget.
What's that?
The grant is from them.
The
Right? Oh,
yeah,
CTO.
the Colorado Tourism, which is under OA.
So, would we have enough to print out, or the grant would cover both the gravel guide and the visitor guide?
I mean, it's apply for one. That's
It's
the
either
right
or.
writing. You can say, I want to do a few things.
Oh,
with this
okay.
movie. It's like here's the
It's either
project,
or.
here's the scope, and when we want to get it done. So
So if we did that, apply for that grant, can we do a separate line item budget for the gravel guide?
yeah, if the board wants to, I obviously am in favor of that. That proposal, I do think I can find. Doesn't mean that it's gonna hold, because those guys are busy. They might come back and jack the price up on us. Let's see.
Because we get so many requests from
For the gravel
the
bed.
gravel guide, yeah, and both visitor guide as
So
well.
proposed budget on this last one was also included print run, 14,000. Yeah, so 28,000 to 35,000. So that includes updates with new ads. Slight tweaks on route pages, trackable QR codes.
That's the problem I
So yeah, some tweaks to the actual content. The main thing is all the ads are outdated. It would be cool to get any route tweaks or updates. Some of them have changed in terms of some of the site segments have been paved, for example, on some of those routes. It would be cool to get one or two new routes, but that will change our scope. So if we have the money, we should budget on the high end of this. I also think that they probably will increase the price realistically, especially because I think this will be the third time we've gone back to them for a quote. So they're probably kind of sick of our shit. And someone else will have to manage this because Juan and I have beef, so.
Because he's trying to make us sick.
I don't know, I'm trying
I
to
could
scroll.
be, I could be the behind the scene, I mean, if you want to be the behind the scene person, and I kind of just do all of the
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, where would that fit in here is the question. I guess probably marketing and advertising.
Under the gravel guide now? Are we talking gravel
Gravel
guide?
guide, yeah. So that was 28 to 35,000 is what they had. Maybe, we could scale the print run is the easiest thing to change in terms of quantities. They had 14,000 in there, that's a lot. Probably lasts us a few years. But maybe if we budget somewhere around 30K, if we have that money, that gives us some flexibility, so it's not the max, but.
And that is not a current category, is it? I don't see it there in between 13 and 26.
So I put in a visitor's guide, I had added a visitor's guide and a gravel guide. And the visitor's guide I got in conjunction with the 4-to-1 grant from CTO. So I put it at 5,000.
I think you might be editing on a different version than I am. 'Cause I don't see you on here.
No, I'm just doing it.
Yeah, but it should be a shared doc, right? Like if you're edit, because
I'm on
earlier,
the wrong place.
yeah, this morning I saw you in the doc at the same time as me, so. Do you want to
Yeah,
send that one to me then?
Yeah.
Since you've already made some changes?
yeah. Yeah, my problem was I don't know if I have internet connection here,
Oh, I
That would
can
be
tell you the
but yeah, because I am. I would love to send this to you.
Yeah, I have a question. When are we going to make the final decision on DIQ?
Well, it's not really our decision, it's just our recommendation.
Okay, when are we gonna make our decision on what our recommendation is?
Right.
We already voted last year, so I don't think, has anything changed for us?
The board has changed.
We have two new members, or two different people.
Yes. Well, and Market is probably going to be seated next meeting. So we should probably at least hold another vote or discussion. They would like an opportunity to meet with us. Brian has reached out to me, so they may be at our next.
He asked us the other day and he said, reach out to you.
Yeah, so he may be at our next meeting. I told him when our meeting times were, he asked me for any preferences. I didn't get back to me yet because it mostly was just like, well, it's not going to be this meeting because we have too much to discuss already. So yeah, maybe at the next meeting we might as well listen to their spiel. Did you
Is it COT staff?
Yeah, and then it's Simpsons Rest 1 exclamation capital S capital R.
Well, I don't see, to be honest with you, we're
Two
basically
exclamations.
wasting,
I got it up on screen there if you can do that.
basically wasting his time if we don't think we're going to recommend them again. And I don't see us doing that. They haven't served the purpose we wanted. I mean, and plus that's a pretty healthy line item. we can, what I see in the future for us, until we get everything done with the budget as far as money being in the coffers, you know, what is it I'm trying to say, having the money in hand instead of knowing it's coming, and we're switching that. So eventually, we will be back to having the full amount to spend. We're going to have to input a lot ourselves into some of these areas, maybe hire somebody for digital or something like that, but it won't be the IQ. So if we go ahead, we're gonna have to budget in there, take destination IQ out of there and just put this is what we wanna do unless the board, I don't see the city council, you know, saying, yeah, no, we wanna keep them. If we say we shouldn't.
It's gonna probably be the same budgeted amount regardless. So in terms of setting our budget, doesn't matter if it says the IQ on there or not. And I think that one even has it says or other activities or something.
And you may have 4 different separate vendors.
Yeah,
doing-
or alternative contracts. So it's
Right.
like, it's the same dollar amount for today's discussion, just don't worry about the IQ right now. I think we do owe them the professional courtesy of a meeting, that's just kind of what you do, you know? So, yeah, it's a little bit of time, if you want to skip that meeting, I guess. But it's also worth providing our feedback to them, to say, here's the reasons why we're probably not gonna recommend you. You know, if I was on their end, I'd like to get that information. So,
Because right now it's just reels, right? As far as what I.
it's social media management, they mostly do reels because video content is what
Right.
gets the most eyeballs. But yeah, again, we'll get into that later, I don't wanna get too far down that discussion right now. I mean,
The more we put it off, this is what happened last time. When we put it off, the more the possibility is that our timing is wrong and somebody will decide, well, we gotta go to less and see if we can legally do this.
I feel like
No,
we're ahead of last year's schedule. We were just starting to meet at this point last year, and we're trying to do all sorts of stuff.
to my
We
knowledge,
missed our September deadline. We weren't ready to pull the plug yet, so we voted too late to do anything about it.
to my knowledge, the contract will not renew. Tara told me that she's already arranged that with DIQ. It's worth confirming.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, but I could be wrong. Maybe
That's
that's
what I got out of the conversation, but I'm not going.
I'll pull up the
I'm not
contract.
going with any of those
Right.
understandings.
I'll
Yeah.
pull up the contract just to verify that it doesn't say that, but I don't. Not 100% sure that that is.
And that was brought up on the days.
Yeah.
Because if not, I think we were gonna owe them, what, $8,000? 10?
That's, well, and again, I don't have a copy of the contract in front of me, so I don't know.
Right.
This is what I've been told.
But 8 meetings, that is what Tara told us, was that she was going to preemptively cancel, so there would be no renewal. That may still involve a fee, which is something we probably need to know for the budget. Also,
Yeah, that 10 was last year. I don't know what it is this year.
Then we'll take an hour to log in and make sure the link works.
So this should be the current one.
If it has grumbled down the.
No. Oh, you're in this one though. I see you. I have it open.
Okay, hold on just a second. You do whatever you need. Oh, here's something else that gets help, more helpful. I have a hotel with that stupid cat.
Does that say hello, Texas?
No, this is home.
Yeah, this should be the same.
What part of
Oh yeah, we're good.
Oh, I'm like, boy.
It might just take a second.
Okay,
What part of Texas did you talk?
Dallas.
Like where the Ewings live?
I was like, where do we go? Right down there, or 27.
Yeah.
You live in
Right where the Ewings live?
Yeah. Not ours.
They were great neighbors to the
Not
Ewings.
ours.
Alright, so I kind of feel like instead of getting, these are the things we had looked at this year, but instead of getting this granular, we should just say print, radio, billboard, basically categories. We set our top level budget for each of those. We're not making decisions on where we're spending that money today, but just a total amount for each of our outlets. Beyond those, we also need digital ad buys. So right now, under this 100K, that includes the ads they're buying, so spending money to promote their social media content. I believe that is something like somewhere between 15 and 20,000 of the 100K they're spending on ad buys, and the rest of that is their admin. So 60 to 85,000 is paying their staff basically to do the work, and then 15 to 20K is buying the ads. So we should have print, billboard, radio, and then digital, but that's not under digital. It would be like, so like for example, email newsletter from Denver Post is a digital marketing effort, but search engine marketing ads. So those are like ads you see on Google. We need a line item for those. Social media ads. So that would be Meta mostly, Facebook and Instagram, but we could potentially advertise on TikTok or elsewhere.
What kind of line items would our budget would you want to set for specific buy ads? Kind of what the IT was doing? Or
It's a good starting point.
so I could pull up what they were.
Yeah. The 100K is going to make this tricky. It would be great to get search engine ads back next year. So, when people search for Trinidad, Colorado, our content is, the Visit Trinidad website is being promoted.
So do you feel like that 149 figure is useful or not useful?
Well, it's useful, but we're still working through how it's about to change. So, for example, I just said let's pull out the specifics for like Westward True West. So instead, print.
What I was getting at is if we're using that dollar amount, that 149K as a placeholder to say this is the amount of money roughly we want to spend on this.
Sure. Total
Yeah.
on marketing and advertising.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a little tricky because I think we're going beyond this year at that point, 150. That doesn't mean that we can't get that approved, right? But, well, I guess we already did. Because these are our contracts we have out there from last year, from this year.
Big ass steak. Is that?
I like the way they just park in the streets now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed they've been doing that?
That's for the last week. I've seen them
Trucking doesn't have it in place, man.
Yes. You start parking my car in the street, see what happens.
Yeah.
I'll stick a 6-pack in the trunk. Calm.
The way they keep from getting in trouble, they come out, stand behind the truck with clipboard and paper on it, come look around.
No, they've been putting cones around the truck to make it official. You were, but I thought you were like angry because they were parked away and you were making that move.
No, it's like
you just looked like you were in a hurry, and I said, yeah.
It's more of a, big city kind of
I
walk.
was like, is he beating that guy up? Like, all the I'm saying, like, just beating him up with a can. Poor guy, he's just trying to deliver his beverages.
So the candlelight thing Saturday night.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Kind of what?
Doing a candlelight concert. It's a relative pitch. They do pop music, classical music on, classical instruments. And we're gonna like to sing.
I'll let Cat know that I could stay and smile or something.
Sure. That'd be great.
Are you using real candles?
Using bad kids.
The picture that's on Facebook looked like a couple thousand candles, but
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I gotta put some, we just figured out the kiosks fixed. I gotta add some of your events, like just the Blues Fest, Rap Fest,
Nice.
some other stuff. I gotta crop some photos of
Have you had a chance to touch base with Sue and find out whether
No,
they have anything to enhance the SUVA experience?
Is that something you guys want to budget? Because we still have to pay them. We need to put that in the budget as well because they charge us 500. What is it, 500 a year?
It's not much.
It's cheap.
But it's, it's at the current level, and I didn't know what they were doing to upgrade it. They put the skins on it, which was great. But I wasn't sure what. Therefore,
It would be nice if we had some colored. And
Absolutely. And they have the ability to sell ads. We shouldn't have to sell their ads for them to get the upgraded equipment.
dude, I saw a deal. IAAM was still trying to sell me things. A banquet that had the little electronic candles,
Oh, yes.
but they all had, I can't remember if it was Wi-Fi or what, but they could turn them all on and all off at the same time. It was so cool. It was like turning on your overhead lights instead of your table lights.
Yeah.
Suddenly came on.
Yeah, that's cool.
they look so real. These like fake candles.
Yes, they do.
Victor, what else might we be missing, do you think, so things like Supa, our repeat kind of small fries that will come up?
That's the only current like subscription that we have. We don't really have any outstanding stuff that is pending that
You know what,
I need to budget for besides Super.
so if we move off DIQ, website hosting is gonna be a cost, it doesn't have to be anything major. That is a priority process because they host it.
Avatar Labs wants to.
So moving that, it's just a WordPress site, it should be pretty easy to download it, plop it on a new post.
You probably have to show me how to do that
But there
because.
will be a process, a vendor will allow us.
Okay.
So whoever we select as a host can help us move it. It
I
will
redid the pickleball page. Pickleball people do not go around. They love pickleball. And
Yeah.
they-
They did, don't they?
And that page was not up to par for them.
Oh my
They
God.
were so nice about it. That's how I was able to fix it, do it myself yesterday. So
That is good, but they are,
They love
they're pretty adamant out there, put out their stuff.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. It's cool.
So we probably pencil in website hosting, it shouldn't be all that much. Honestly, even like $500.
And then will city staff still maintain it, or will that contract go to somebody who's gonna maintain the website?
I feel like where we're at right now, with the content on there, we can keep it in-house between the board and city staff, just in terms of updates and stuff. We don't really need someone hands-on managing it. So, any website host worth its salt should have a backup feature, so we just wanna make sure we're using that, which is all just part of the WordPress configuration, so
They have some sort of scraper that pulls events to it. It's some utility, and I don't know if it's
Yodel.
inherent.
It's Yodel.
What's that?
Yodel.
so there might be licensing on
Yes.
this.
That is, yeah, that's expensive. That's, if we're gonna continue using Yodel without DIQ, I think that was, gosh, I run this $8,000.
Really?
Yeah, Yodel's expensive. I have to pull the actual contract. Brian said they got a deal on it. But I mean, I wanted to say that like it was really expensive to keep Yodel, and that's not, we don't necessarily need to use Yodel, right?
There's just gonna, it would just have to be manual to get events on there. So right now, and this is not an ideal solution to be honest, they did it because we are no longer paying them for website management. But, so previously, they did go out and hands-on, like, find events to plug in, and then we had a submission process, so like, if Eric wanted to submit his play, it'd be on the website, you fill out a form with that information.
And they still can. That feature's still there.
Yeah, but that's up to you to go set it up.
And put pictures and
Correct.
that's not happening, Eric. Sorry. The Wizard of Oz would suffer. Thank God the Wizard of Oz is already up on Yodel.
Yeah, so,
Sorry, it's really.
that's part of this platform request.
8,000 just seems so much.
It doesn't seem right to me either. It seems really
No, if I had to guess, just, and I haven't looked at the 3,000, it seems more like what we would be paying for that.
That sounds crazy to me.
Well, because we don't have the.
So it's credit based, it's like an AI thing.
Oh, interesting.
You thought we'd be done, didn't you?
We're awesome.
Yeah. So 36 a month, but that can't be like what we're talking about, right? I love your price a lot better than.
Yeah, and I couldn't be completely off on that price, but I wanted, for some odd reason, 8,000 is popping in my head.
There's different models, of course.
Interesting. Of course, they're.
One is AI content creation. So here you go.
Yeah, this is more of what I was saying there. And that's based on what somebody else told me in a conversation, months ago. Yeah, about their website.
So, I mean, this is up to 15,000 population. I don't know what that
Not really
population
covers, yeah.
but $140 a month. So under $2,000.
Okay.
So maybe we just up the website line item, so website would be
2,000.
yeah, something like 2,500. Or even $3,000 gives us wiggle room if we needed to like contract out any improvements or anything. We have it in the budget, so say we need a WordPress expert to solve a problem. So this has come up a little bit, but it's not far off from where we were at. I just plugged some numbers in here for print, radio, and then a few categories of digital. Even though they are print, we have Cherry Road, World Journal here are separate because we spent with them in the past. But we could change that, just fold those into our overall print budget. That's up to you guys.
I mean, I don't think it matters really. I mean, the numbers are there. Unless you don't want any granularity at all at city council.
How do we feel about these just for like budgetary purposes? Is that enough? What were our radio contracts in the last year? I deleted them out here. I should have told them first.
There was
Christina.
KCRT was 5,000, and the ones from Amarillo, Wichita Falls, I think was another.
They were 6,000,
Okay.
because we eliminated Albuquerque.
So a little over 10
I
total.
think it was over 10.
Alright. And Franklin billboards.
I don't know, and I can't remember if that's a good number or not. I mean, I think so. I think that's about what we have.
Billboard, it's about right.
Yeah.
I also don't know if we want to repeat that or not. So the billboards we have are gonna run into the middle of next year under their current contracts. So that hits on the early part of tourism season. Yeah, if we give them up, we may or may not get them back again, but maybe that 15K is better spent somewhere else. And maybe no one even buys those billboards and they just stay up anyway.
My experience when we tried to do it before, they were gone, the good ones.
They held this one here, exit 14 a long time.
We might want
There's
to,
no money.
we might want to look at the art work on it,
So you guys want to leave it?
As a placeholder for the time being,
Yeah.
if we decide not to do it, because once we're to 27, we might say, oh yeah.
Okay. Luann, will you update this remainder
Yes.
box for us? That's because I deleted
Yeah,
some
no,
lines.
and I got it.
Because then we can just look and see down the line here. Obviously, our big one is the advertising bucket. We'll see what's left then. If we need to modify any ad stuff to affect these things. Then.
Yes. Sorry, I just had to do this one in
You're good. And then for you guys, what else are missing on our repeat grant applicants? We've got Mitch in here, the triggers. We should probably up the triggers because they just had 2 grant rounds of total of 5,000. Kim told me she meant to apply for 10.
Oh,
She
really?
was very distraught on the phone.
Oh,
I think that's part of why they're doing this current road trip fundraiser thing. But I was like, it's not my fault you wrote a grant wrong.
So, plug-in 5.
Or if we want to do more.
Are you gonna leave a line item for each person? Or are you just gonna take all that out and just put the grant request? I mean, do you really want to leave all those in there like that?
I'm not sure. And that's what we started talking about last meeting, right? Is if
It may be, maybe if we could just like,
Cause then council's gonna think
request,
that you
yeah.
guys are directly wanting to budget directly for all those line items or all those
yeah.
applicants.
I think the 2 tricky ones are the big festivals.
I mean, I would keep the Trinidad and the Fancy Spider and things that you think that, automatically should be.
Well, but that's where it's like, we have funded every year I've been on the board. The Mitch, the Triggers, Main Street Live, the Farmers Market. So these are repeat that we do see every year. So it's like, should we go ahead and just make them a line item?
But it's making it look like you already have a budget for the farmer's market.
Right. Yeah, well, and so I'm like, if that's the case, we should just take the other festivals out too.
Yeah, that's
And just,
it
like you
just,
said first, just total them up.
Yeah.
That is our arts and cultural events or amenities budget for the year.
Because then if there's another event, let's just say there's an event out there and they're like, well, why are they in there? We're not in there, and then it turns into. But
I
I
didn't
know,
do that for Carmel, and I realized that on driving here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought, oh,
I know that Trinidad and Fancy Spider were not part of this grant round, we didn't really give them anything for this specific one. Those were all other different line items.
I mean, if you put in 10 and that gets approved, then we got money to play with, right? And so I think, yeah, no objection to it at all. I don't know if anybody ever watches this, but I'm glad that we're saying this is just a guess at what we think our the people are going to come back to us. We're not pre-assigning this money.
No, we're just trying to get an idea of what we might need based on the only information we have.
Yeah.
And I didn't put everything because there's some things that were obvious one-offs.
Yeah. So right now we're at about 130 total on arts and culture.
What does that give us total?
We're down to $20,000 that we haven't allocated.
Can we raise that to grants to 150 from 139?
Sure we can.
Just
Well, we should hold tight because right now, other tourism-related expenses empty, youth activities empty, services, programs, conferences, special events empty.
so the youth activities I thought was part of the 5 allowable, A through E, it's things we spend money on. So if it went down there as part of that, you could move youth activities to the arts and culture. Unless you just wanted, I think we put
Yes, it is one of the allowable, but I kind of feel like we should just have a budget line there that maybe is something like youth sports.
That one's gonna be a hard one to do. I mean, because you don't even know what events are gonna pop up for the youth.
But yeah,
I mean, how would you
leaving
know
a
that
budget item allows us to then sit down and say, we recommend you do this thing out of this budget. Whereas if we allocate everything elsewhere, then it's not an option. It would have to be a arts and cultural events because that's where we have the budget set. A sports league is not an arts and cultural event, for example. So I just think we should put all our eggs into, right now it's just ads and arts and culture pretty much. City sponsored community events, so this is what, fireworks is the 35
Yeah.
here?
Yep. And I put that 10,000 in just kind of based on the fishing tournaments, bocce ball, and that
What's
kind
the
of stuff.
concern? Yeah.
I mean, I just stuck that in there because
casino night, whatever we're gonna pay for that. I don't know what that's gonna be.
Well, my tuxedo's not gonna be cheap.
That's important
you
to factor
really need
in.
to read that.
Kidding, whatever, I'm not really wearing a tuxedo.
How about a t-shirt?
And may not be
Yeah,
that much, and that's why we really need those numbers
Yeah.
from the clerk's office.
All right, so you're saying we've got 20 left out of the.
That's everything.
So, do you want to put in 5 or 10 for the youth activities then, just so that there's an idea?
Placeholder.
Yeah. So we, it's
10.
not unbudgeted.
It's 10.
So you're 10 there.
And then we had one other, didn't we, that was totally blank. The one out of budget.
We have tourism-related services, programs, conferences, conventions, meetings, and events. So, I mean, how would we spend money on that stuff? Because to me, most of that comes down to promotion to get people to come here. Like we already have the facility on the city side.
I think it's promoting our place,
So that
getting the word out.
that we just work into our marketing and advertising.
Right.
I think it's worth putting some notes on some of that stuff.
Or I may go to a couple of conventions.
That actually would be good. We've done that kind of stuff in the past. I think it would be good to set some budget line items for that for you and even potentially board members. Basically to help you so you're not sitting at a booth all day by yourself. There are state conferences, there are regional tourism conferences and things that we could be at to promote this.
Right.
I want to go to the one in Hawaii.
No, Eric, no one is under that
You
one.
and I should go. Yes.
We can both go.
That works for me.
Another use of the local radio is to remind locals that you've got this, and if they belong to, some kind of an organization that has meetings, regional, whatever, to, bring them here, let us help you. I mean, it's a tool.
We are getting the DCI one for sure. That's gonna be a long.
How much do you think we would spend on passes, like a booth and travel for a few conferences?
I would at least budget for 5.
I think 5 will go fast.
Yeah.
A lot of times booths are a few hundred to a couple thousand.
Oh, okay.
And then
That's not
we
including
gotta
that
get
time
people.
travel. 10?
Wow, theater.
That's all we have.
Yeah, 10 seems like a lot, especially because we don't really know what we would do, like specifics on where we would want to send you.
Middle there. And I mean, again, this is a,
Just put it, let's pencil in 5,
yeah,
and then we can see how it goes.
And whatever we don't cover, whatever doesn't cover in this, I do have a little extra in the space to create.
In terms of promoting
Right.
the space,
Yeah.
So right now we're down to 5,100.
that's better.
Yeah.
So where are we, sorry, say again? The
Right now?
line? Yeah. Where are we in terms of total budget expenditures?
Right now there's 5,100 not allocated.
Well, I'm always gonna want it for arts and culture, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also still have nothing in other that is as approved by city council.
That's miscellaneous, right?
Yeah, so essentially we probably don't want anything empty. Worst case mid-year, we could say, we haven't spent this money, let's drop it somewhere else with council's approval. Or it rolls into the reserve.
Because if
There's
there's,
I move we put $5,100 into that fund, Joe.
if there's something specific, like some arts and culture, there's some type of event that you all wanted to have here, the board would be able to sponsor it.
What would lunch cost twice a month?
There's a meat truck right there.
That is a legitimate tourism-related expense.
Well,
So my biggest worry here is this is not enough for the monthly events that they want to do.
Yeah.
So 35,000 is fireworks.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't know what they're spending, right? We don't know until after the fact. As you say, the fishing tournament has entry fees.
Yeah.
So even though it's an expense, when they get it back, you can sell sponsorships to those things.
and like the bocce balls, things like
Right.
entry fees, so.
That
I mean, there was.
expense was significant.
Yeah,
That bocce ball tournament was really fun.
it was,
I had a good time.
and I'm telling you, we had many teams signed up for the Santa Fe Trail Days, and we just couldn't get quite enough. It was all local stuff, but.
Well, they saw that big check. They said, I want to be some of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can cut some ad budget potentially. Right now, we have 100 grand on alternative contracts.
Yeah.
Like I said, the way that currently stands today, a portion of that 100 grand is these ad buys, which now we have lines for.
Right.
So, this might drop.
But then we're probably gonna, probably the 120 that we have for the grants may be a little low as well.
Right now, we're at 130.
130, sorry.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, this isn't probably every single thing. That does, however, that includes trail days. I don't know if we want to move that trail days up to city sponsored events.
That makes more sense to me.
you know, it's community event, those two categories are kind of together. I think it doesn't really matter in the end. Well, you know, in the end, we're gonna take grants as they come. So we should encourage people to apply early and apply for what they want, yes.
And let us figure out, make that work after the fact.
So yeah, I think my biggest thing up with where we're at is just this, the city events. I'm not sure that 10K is gonna cover that. But we may have some wiggle room on this $100,000 contracted work.
And without the categories, the
You mean
restrictions.
this, all these city events that are going on now with the fishing and,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure, I mean, with the prizes alone. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the prizes were something like $5,000 on
Yeah.
each given fishing tourney. That's not gonna be covered by entry fees.
You might get a quarter of it.
So I don't think that's gonna be enough.
We need those numbers from the.
Yeah.
I'll send them a note and say we need that this week.
I can go talk to Audrey this afternoon and see if there's a way that,
It doesn't have to even be exact, it has to be ballpark for each event, you know,
because.
or to say, tell us your wish list for the next year.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the number you want for city events for 2026?
We can't finish until.
Yeah, we have to have this done by August first, right?
We're getting close.
Yeah,
I'll hopefully have a number for you by this afternoon, because I have to go to City Hall anyway.
okay.
To meet with,
Um,
work out my own budget.
So for you guys, if Luann and I get together to finish this before the end of the month, so we can hand it off. It seems to me like we pretty much set the goal for marketing and ad. We need to make up for a different category. So are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I am.
Alright. And we can't do any discussion over email, but when we finish, we can send you the final draft. And you can just have a chance to always look at it.
Yeah, there's not gonna be anything that's, so outlined that we're gonna say, hey, wait, what are you gonna do? I mean, I think we're in good shape, so just finish it up.
Yeah, I would love to see that, send it to me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the other big one here is the gravel guide. So, like you said, I mean, it's an effective thing that's already
So
not
we get so
there.
many
It is.
requests
It
for
is.
that.
And this doesn't count
We
any.
do get a lot of requests.
It does. We are targeting the grant for the visitor's guide.
Both the visitor guide and gravel guide are crucial, I think.
We have the tourism grant, the management grant, right?
That wouldn't apply for that. That's for like planning stuff, for planning purposes. It would be like get a firm to come here and tell us how we should look at it, or it wouldn't. You couldn't get something produced for that.
How do we distribute those guys? Both those? We just,
Businesses.
Oh, the guides, we give them, the welcome centers, very crucial. We have them here, we provide them to the businesses that want them, that like to give them out. Levita Group has been requesting them.
Yeah, and I know Marty used to mail them out places, so I don't have a list of where they might have been shipped, but there's some level of cost involved in shipping them out.
There is if somebody wanted us to mail one, like say you're from Texas, they wanted us to send them.
Or to give them to like, say we want to send it to the other side of I-25 to the welcome center up there, right? So they have them available.
Yeah.
So we can cross that bridge, but maybe we just want to include that in our grant writing. So part of the 20K is not only.
like, I think they're valuable products, but how do they, what are they attributing to attracting people? Are there people that are coming here because they know they can get a guide, or are they coming here because they saw a
No, I
guide?
think, well, a little bit of both. I think, especially if they're in different regions
Yeah,
of Colorado, they're able to see that we're having Fancy Spider, we have all these events that are coming up, and we have gravel guides, we have the Raft Fest, and we have
yeah, I see they adding to the whole.
Yeah, we have a list of type of different restaurants that are here.
Okay, yeah. Are we done with the budget thing? Can I ask another question?
I mean,
When would you like to get together, Joe? That's my only question.
let's wait till we're done with the main meeting.
Okay.
Second. I guess, I mean, no, we're not really done, like, but I guess the land, and I can take it from here. We have a general budget, but I think a lot of this is still kind of up in the air, so. I know we've been here a long time, but this is kind of probably our most vital.
Yes, I agree, and I don't need to rush you. I
Yeah,
just was
no,
curious.
it's fine, I'm hungry. Yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of deciding where we need to pull things from. So for now, it's probably okay to put it in this. I imagine there are some things we're overlooking.
And I'll go through my system just to make sure that there's any missing pieces and
Especially any recurring charges we have. So we'll get you a copy of this too. So you can check it against whatever we're paying for.
Okay.
But yeah, if you don't mind just pulling whatever we're getting charged, that's getting the logic.
and I can pull that from our financial page. Tyler, we call it Tyler, all the contracts that we have. So that's what I'm meeting with the finance department today about. So
Gotcha.
we'll keep you guys updated on
Alright. Alright, so pin and budget, I guess, and then miscellaneous, would that be
Well,
your question?
we had talked earlier about the possibility of, if we had funds for this year, depending on how everything worked out, of doing another push for the fall for, well, we've got two big festivals that are ours, and then the Cavemen didn't come to us for money, but another one, doing another radio push in Texas for those. But we never decided, did we?
I don't want to spend any more money on radio personally. I do want to do an advertising push around those, but I think it should be a digital focus. So yeah, Trinidad and Fancy Spider, potentially Caveman,
And you want to push those where?
via digital ads. So social media ads, that's probably going to be, I mean, we could maybe hit DIQ for this, whatever their last billable hours are going to be for it, because I think they're done end of this month, according to the contract.
So you want to push music festivals on digital and not on something that plays music?
Yeah, I'm looking for our most effective ROI, and I don't think it's radio.
You don't think you have, I'm just, I disagree with you, so I want to know what you're basing that on.
The modern marketing trends, best way to spend our money is always going to be digital. Targeting exactly who we want is going to be digital.
But
So
is that making people decide to come for those festivals, or if they hear about them
yeah,
on radio?
for sure. Because on the radio, it's probably going to be one ear, not the other.
That's the assumption. That is not based on.
When I get an ad on my phone, I'm like, this festival looks cool, and I can click on it right there, and it takes me to the website that lists out more information.
That's
that. Do we think Cumulus was actually effective?
I think radio, whether Cumulus is what we've got in, sitting there, but I think you're underestimating the ability of radio to sell a product.
I think you're overestimating it. So
Regardless, we said that we were trying to spread our media platforms around, and we haven't done any print at all. And I tend to agree with Joe about the targetability and the cost. I mean, for all, whatever you think else about what the DIQ guy said, he said hands down, that's the most efficient way.
I mean, you can look at any
He is
any current marketing like outlet in terms of you know, a magazine or a trade journal or something, and they're going to tell you the same thing. Will radio be a part of it? Sure, but if you're also thinking about the timeline we have right now in terms of getting that ad out, the easiest and most effective way to do it is going to be digitally. Print ads are not going to work on our current timeline if we're going to be promoting Trinidad. We could maybe get print ads out for Fancy Spider or something. But I think Fancy Spider would be a great one to go out and talk to Westward, Denver Post, like the Front Range outlets on the newsletter, for the digital newsletter, and for website ad placements. So we've already looked at some of those packages. That's going to hit our hipster kids who might want to travel down here for a music festival weekend. Blues Fest is a little bit of a different audience.
Okay, another question. We can do that with the IQ and what they have left,
Probably not.
so we need to spend money on some digital.
Correct. So what we're talking about here is our remaining, it's like $5,000 in marketing and advertising for the rest of this
That's
year.
what we have remaining, 5,000.
It's not very
How
much.
much?
Okay, then we basically be down to a vote, you know, do we want to do radio or do we want to do digital? And looks like it would probably wind up.
Yeah, I think this is something we have to table for the next meeting. But we do need to get things moving, specifically with Trinidad, because that's at the end of August. So,
It's gonna have to look.
yeah.
I'm hearing from my print guys too, from 303 in Westward, hey, you gonna buy something?
Yeah.
Buy the Post.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I need to go tell them,
Well,
no,
you-
we're not gonna do a buy.
You can also just say that we're still discussing.
I already have.
That's just what salespeople do. That's their job. So don't worry about that. But what I was saying was, Fancy Spider is a great one to go to Westward or Denver Post for those, for like a newsletter hit,
Yes.
or for a website ad where it's an image on the website to click on. So I think that would be a good option for that one.
Can we add something to our website that would be able to?
Yeah, I mean, we could also probably have like a pop-up thing where when you first visit the website,
That would be
it
more.
pops up, it says,
Yeah.
check out these upcoming festivals, yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool.
So I might be able to get some time with you to look at an option for that. If you want to do some research, look for how to do a website pop-up on WordPress.
Yeah.
If we're going to promote Blues Fest, we need to do it by our next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Fancy Spider can wait just a little bit longer, but it would be nice to.
so get it all going. We should just talk about that at the next one. So basically, how do we want to spend the last $5,000 in marketing and advertising with an eye towards these upcoming festivals?
Yes.
I got noticed that they sent you a proposal
Cumulus?
that Cumulus did,
Yes, I just got it.
that includes some digital that they would throw in. Can you run that, at least for us to look at?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just got
Because
it.
if they can accomplish the digital and the other, then, you know, anything else? Okay, I'll bring those over.
Yeah, I told AC we're meeting them shortly afternoon.
Their proposal would be 3,000, and I'll send this up to Joe. You can take a look at it.
Send it to all of us.
I'll send, yeah. Sorry.
Alright, I'm just catching up on a couple notes. Any other miscellaneous things? Anything? Yeah, I don't think I have anything either, so, all that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I guess I'll say.
Who was there?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.